Okay. I'll try not to go on very long. I have lots of thank yous that are really, really necessary to say. I don't know if that woman who called me tonight has any idea of the hope and just her friendliness and her encouragement, what that did, what that meant. So instead of telling you how bad chemo is and how bad radiation is and how you should look into all the natural stuff, it's really what I think, but I'm not going to push it on you. Because the more somebody pushed stuff on me, the more I did not want to listen. If you're interested, I was hoping my dad could go to that clinic, he could be cured, and then I could come back and I could tell everybody. And no matter what anybody has said about him, I have reached out. He has a patient group. And he's been in front of the FDA 5 times. They want to take his medical license away. They want to shut him down. They want to put him in jail. The FDA tried to patent the compounds to start making the drug themselves while he was standing trial in Texas. And one thing I don't understand is, okay, you've bashed him for 30 years, told everybody that he's a quack, but then you try to steal his medicine. The only thing I can think of is that it works, and they wanted it for themselves. But this doctor is a biochemist. He's a doctor. He's a researcher. He's very smart, and he knows when he found something that worked, he patented it. So nobody could make money off of his drug. And I think that's really why a lot of people are mad. Because if the cure that he has, and I don't know if it's a cure. He sent me some paperwork out of a recent study. And he really is portrayed as a bad guy. Because he didn't publish his research, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. Well, he tried to publish his research, and because, everybody wants to put the good guy down, they wouldn't publish it. And they've been after him for 30 years. Can you blame him for not really, really, really trying so hard, when they've done nothing but they want to work with him now? They sabotaged one of his trials. One of the big places in America, I won't say who, agreed to, I think, fund one of his trials, and the FDA was involved in it. Now, this man has had 40 years to perfect this drug. And unfortunately, he found out that, what chemicals worked and what didn't, and unfortunately probably people died, But anyways, he finally got it right, and he was curing people, and it was amazing. And the FDA, he didn't find this out. They just said that he was a quack, and his trial was a joke. His medicine didn't work. And then I think it was like 10 years later they published the study. And he's seen where, like if you're supposed to take 25 milligrams of this and 25 milligrams of this, and you are a doctor who are curing people, and then you find out in a paper that they have diluted down your drug with water, and he says they gave the dosage equivalent to 179% lower than what he told them would work. So it's almost like they set him up to fail. I don't know. I haven't heard all sides. I'm not all-knowing. I'm not God. But, I do believe things like that can happen, because there is evil But anyways, on a positive note, I want to thank Quick Fill. In my dad's hometown, they left a message for me, and I will return your call. The manager got my letter. They couldn't really donate, but she asked her manager if there was something that she could do. And I have to call him back, and I don't know why I haven't got a chance to call her back. But they're going to talk to the officials and see if it's okay if they put a jar, like, I don't know, with my dad's picture or something up, so the people that come in there, if they want to, can donate. You know, if you have some change, put it in that jar. Thank you. That angel who spoke with me on the phone tonight, I don't know. I didn't really ask her if I could give her name out, so right now it's anonymous, but thank you. There's a woman that has been helping me from the very beginning, and she sends me article after article after article, and sometimes, you know, I read all the stuff, and I'm just so depressed that I don't even write her back. And that's not fair, because she's working so hard for my dad. And I always pronounce her name wrong, so I'm going to try to say it right. Cheryl Mosier? Thank you. When I first got the chance to meet you at church, I could see what a good person you are. And my preacher, Mr. Willard, he told the church that my dad had cancer and asked everybody to pray for him. Thank you. And he put my dad on the prayer list at the church. Thank you. The guy who plays the piano happens to be Cheryl's dad. He's awesome. I like him. My kids love that church. My kid actually asked me today, you know, he knew that today was the last day of school. He asked me if we could go to church tomorrow because Mr. Willard calls the kids up on stage. And sometimes I don't know what to think because I was a long-time member of a certain church, and my pastor died, and I didn't have kids then. And this world sometimes is not right, and people do discriminate, and people don't understand why my kids are wild and why some of them don't act the way they should. You know, and then they'll tell me that they need, you know, a good spanking. My kids are autistic. I don't condone what they do. They do get punished. They sit in timeout for quite a while. But, you know, I'm trying to do the very best I can with them. But people unfairly judge. You know, that mother in the store that's got a screaming kid that's kicking and yelling. I mean, I used to judge too. And I'm like, what? Gosh, what is wrong with her? But anyways, I went to a couple churches that judged me. And I didn't think I was ever going to go to church and find a church that could handle my kids. And when my dad was sick in the hospital, I wrote a post on Facebook when he was really bad on my community's page. And I asked anyone to send my dad a card at the hospital, you know, to make him feel better. And I remember this one oncologist was talking, or no, he was a bone specialist, orthopedic surgeon, and they didn't tell us why he was called in. We thought maybe because he was going to cut my dad's leg off. And he literally, to do the exam, I mean, made my dad cry, made me scream at him several times to stop it. He was hurting my dad. And this guy, you know, kind of peeked in, said he was from Facebook. And, you know, of course I wanted to talk to him, but I've got this guy over here that is practically murdering my dad. So I probably was rude, and I didn't go out in the hallway because I wanted to make sure this doctor didn't hurt my dad. Well, he left a note that he was a preacher and that he would come back. And he did. I happened to stay at the hospital, and I would stay up with my father all night and watch him, make sure he was okay. And then I would sleep during the day. And this hospital had a bed in the room, so it was nice. We could stay. And anyways, I guess he did come by when I was sleeping. So when my dad got better, he called that man on the phone, and he said, since you came to visit me, I'm going to come and visit you. And so now we've been going to that church. And my kids love it. He calls the kids up on stage, and he tells a story to the children that he puts in terms for them to understand, but it also plays a key part in what he's trying to get his message across to all of us. And anyways, even if it's just for a minute, my kids love it. And my 3-year-old, usually church is supposed to be quiet. Every time, he hands the kids a coloring sheet or whatever. The one time he handed my son a string, and my son always screams, "Mommy, look what he gave me!" and runs down the church hallway looking for me. And of course it's quiet in there, and him running makes a loud noise, and everybody laughs, but they don't laugh at him because they see something wrong with him. They laugh because it's cute that he's so excited. He wants to show me every time we go to church what the preacher gave him. And both my boys really like him, so thank you. An unexpected thing happened today. My mom always gets her hair cut. I believe it's Candy's Cuts in Union City. My mom went to get her hair done, and this lady, Candy Carter Miller, gave my mom an envelope with money in it to give to my dad. And when my mom went to pay her for the haircut, she told my mom it was on the house, it was free. You don't know what that meant to my mom. And you have no idea what that meant to my dad. Because this is the first donation that we have got that isn't online. So I've got to add there's a site on there's a something on the GoFundMe site where you can click if somebody has given you money to add to your total. And, I'm going to do that. You don't just have to be recognized from donating online. Thank you so much. And people have wrote to me and shared helpful information and talked to me and followed up with me to see if I was okay. And sometimes I really have not been okay, because it's up and down, If my dad is sad, then I have a really bad day. If my dad's feeling good, then I'm happy. The last minute, I wasn't going to say anything about this, but I ran into an oncologist, okay, who knows my views. And he told me that I had him completely fooled. That he thought that I was a wonderful daughter, someone to be proud of, because I loved my dad so very much. And it was evident to him, that I would do anything for my dad, and anything for the cure to help other people. But he told me he was wrong, because he found out I want to take my dad to see this doctor. And he told me that it was very evident to the medical community that I don't love my dad at all. And that I want my dad to die. So you, Mr. Big Shot, I'm going to say a prayer for you before I go to bed. For judging me. Because I love my dad more than anything in this world. Good night.